Where can I start to buy better food? Where can I start to actually lean into things that are more powerful? How does this become something that can be scalable, easy, sustainable, and done over the long term? So number one, how do we get good quality meats? I found something that was like a gold mine, and it's called Wild Fork. The quality of the meat, guys, is incredible. We get Thrive Market delivered and then we do Misfits Market every single week. And then our almond cow is made whenever we need it. The fuel we put in our body is critical. And the more sustainable, the more purposeful we can be, the better it can become. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Own It Show. I'm your host, Justin Rothling-Schofer, and it is so great to be with you. If it's your first time here at the show, again, as you hear every single time, welcome, because we just love to welcome our new members, our new listeners. I know that when I look at the downloads that are happening, we're adding about 500 to 600 downloads every single week on top of what we've typically been getting. And I just have to thank you guys, because that means that you are sharing it. That means you're talking about it. That means you're getting it out into other people's hands. And again, that's the only way that we're able to actually get more listeners, get more responses, and ultimately get the knowledge and wisdom that we're speaking about here into the ears, eyes, and hands of those who can actually make a difference and actually start to create their own ownership of their health. And so thank you very much. And I continue to just ask. The one thing that I'll continue to keep asking is that you keep sharing it. Feel free to tag us on social media, tag me personally on social media. I'll reshare it. I'll make sure that we can have conversation. I'm the only one that takes my social media conversations. So I just love building relationship. You've heard me say this before. I believe that transformation happens through relationship, not through technology. Technology just becomes a caveat if we're willing to build strong relationships. And so again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, if you're new here, feel free to go look back at the other 200 and some, 300 plus episodes that we've done. Great guests, amazing guests, and a lot of different solo episodes, just like we're going to dive into today. And if you've been following along and tracking along, we've really been talking about different things from the nutritional side. And last week, my podcast with Justin was just so powerful in hearing the story of his niece and the types of foods that were going on and that he was exposed to and that he was experiencing. And so as I started to get a lot of feedback from that one, I was really just convicted to provide some actionable solutions this week and really help you see, okay, where can I start to buy better food? Where can I start to actually lean into things that are more powerful? And so literally what I did was I made a note as to how do I get the food from the different stores, the different places into my home every single week so that I have meat, that I have my fruits, my vegetables, I have my protein powders. What is it that Justin consumes? What is it that Elise consumes on a daily, weekly basis? How do they get that food from wherever it is to their home so that it's convenient, it's fast, and it doesn't require copious amounts of time and scheduling, et cetera, et cetera? How does this become something that can be scalable, easy, sustainable, and done over the long term? And so that was really my mission today, because I think when we step back and we go, hey, this can be pretty easy, it actually becomes pretty difficult. And that was seen in a little experiment that I did. And so I'm the one that does all the grocery shopping in the house. I'm the one that goes and makes the lists and really figures, okay, what are we going to get this week? What are we going to do? And what I did was I said, hey, Elise, can you do me a favor? Can you go to the grocery store and can you get everything we usually buy, but it has to have 4 ingredients or less? And she goes, okay, sounds good. And I sent her on her way. And about 30 minutes later, I got a phone call. Nothing has 4 ingredients or less. Where are you getting all this stuff? What are you seeing? What are we looking at? I'm frustrated. I hate this. This is why you do this. And so as we sit into this, I think this is something that a lot of people start to get frustrated with, is we say, hey, we should try to get things that have very few ingredients. And when we actually become aware as to the ingredients that are in our food, you walk through the grocery stores. I know I said it on the 3 or 4 podcasts ago. There's 10 companies that own 98% of all the food that we consume and all the food that's available in grocery stores, whether it's Kraft, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, General Mills, Kellogg's, Nestle, you name it. It's like these are the companies that own all of these other foods that we just find as like a default that we just start using and we don't even think about it. And this is where it becomes really difficult to actually start to break away from that. We start to get into these ruts and we're like, man, I don't know where to get this, because forever I've always loved to go and purchase my gluten-free crackers from Triscuit. Well, those gluten-free crackers from Triscuit are actually owned by Kraft. And you're like, man, I didn't even realize that. Or, you know what? I put I have this sugar-free Jell-O. Well, Jell-O's also owned by Kraft. Or you're like, hey, I've got just this great gum. I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, yeah, I'm addicted to gum. I love gum. I said, what kind of gum do you have? Well, I have Trident usually. Sometimes I have Claret's, but I use all the sugar-free stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not as good as you think. It's actually owned by Cadbury, and Cadbury is owned by Kraft, and Kraft is ultimately owned by Mondelez International. Again, these things all come together. It can be so overwhelming when we start to think about this. And you're like, man, I thought I was doing so great. I thought I was doing so well, but I just feel like the whole system is stacked against me. And so my heart goes out, and my heart went out, and I was like, we need to start to create something that's more actionable and purposeful. So off of that journey with Elise, what I did was I put a true area together to go, okay, if somebody's wanting to do this well, how do they actually do it? How do they make this something that's sustainable? And not going to 9 different grocery stores, not going and making lists, not going and doing all these things, but how can they do it where the majority of it is delivered, the majority of it doesn't take time, and the majority of it doesn't cause them to have to think about it? And so this is what I came up with, and this is what I built, and this is what we're going to ultimately step into. So I wanted to actually go back right to the very beginning. So number one, how do we get good quality meats? How do we get good quality meats and proteins into our home? And so, yes, you could find a local butcher. Yes, you could go to the local farmer's market. But again, Lisa and I looked around and we were like, hey, what does this local butcher have? What does the local farmer's market have? Well, we went to the farmer's market, and for a single flank steak, remember, a flank steak, I will eat 1.5 pounds of flank steak in a meal, was $34. And I said, I literally just can't justify spending $34 for a piece of flank steak. Ground beef, $16 a pound. I literally just can't justify that because of the quantity in which I consume. Same thing when we went to the butcher. And so I was like, we need to find another solution, something that's a little bit more tolerable, sustainable for us. And so as I dug deep and we really went into these different areas, I found something that was like a gold mine, and it's called Wild Fork. Wild Fork. Everything in there is wild caught fish, grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised beef, free-range, antibiotic-free chicken. And it almost felt like it was too good to be true. And so we ordered from there, and the quality of the meat, guys, is incredible. What they do is they actually flash freeze it immediately after it's butchered. So it holds in all the nutrients. It holds in the richness of color. There's no artificial water injected into it. There's no artificial ingredients. There's no antibiotics. There's no preservatives. It's flash frozen. And they're constantly kicking these meats out. They're from all these different ranches all over the United States. They've got meat and fish coming or I guess not meat coming from the ocean, but fish coming from all these different oceanic places and these different ports. It's incredible. And in Miami, they actually have a couple stores locally that you can go to and get the stuff from there, but they ship nationwide. And this is what I was so excited about, is they have free shipping nationwide. And this is why I want to share this one with you. And so Wild Fork is where you get all your meats, your chicken, your fish, your beef, your pork, whatever it is that you're eating, whatever it is that you're ordering. And you can actually put it on auto order. So you don't have to start to do it every single week. You can just have it on auto shipment. You can change your shipment to have more, to have less, obviously different Thanksgiving times. And when you start to look at this, we're talking about 85% lean ground beef that is grain-free, grass fed, grass finished, pasture raised for $5.99 a pound. It's like, my gosh, this is so amazing. So Wild Fork is where we were doing that from and where we continue to get our meat from. And that's on autopilot, auto order. So again, check that off the list. We don't have to worry about any of the meats coming to the house. Super easy, super simple. It shows up. We don't have to go to the grocery store. We don't have to buy anything. It's simply there for us every single time we go. So Wild Fork, very simple, very easy. Then we were like, okay, where do we now start to get our fruits and vegetables from? Because again, it's one of those things that when you go to the grocery store, organic or non-organic, we can have this conversation all day long. Even though it says it's organic, they still use pesticides, still use herbicides, still use all of these different sprays that have the glyphosates in them that are just going to, again, create this waxy film that is so hard for our cells to digest and creates more toxicity than we could ever imagine. And so I was like, where do we actually start to get this? And this is when we went to the farmer's market again. And the farmer's market is hit or miss because the farmer's market not only doesn't necessarily have the things because it's seasonal, but it also goes back to the same issue we had with the meat where it's just so crazy expensive. Like, again, I'm eating 2 apples a day, at least a banana or 2 a day. And you go to any type of grocery store and bananas are 29, 39 cents a pound. Well, the other day we were at the farmer's market and it was $1.10 a pound. I was just like, man, I just can't justify it. Like it hurts me. And I don't have an issue spending money on food, but my gosh, it was just like, I had a hard time. And so again, I dove deep and I started to go, how do I find the solution for my family? But then how do I find the solution for everybody else listening and our clients that we serve through Own It? And so from there, we started to go, okay, number one, you can probably go and pick and choose going to the farmer's market. Farmer's market's a great choice. But if you go to the farmer's market, still come back and put baking soda and vinegar in your sink and wash all of the fruits and vegetables in there, and you'll start to notice these little bugs come off them. You'll start to notice a little film at the top of the water when you're done, and that a lot of time is the glyphosates. It's the different microbugs that are present on these things that again cause issues in the gut and issues at the cellular level. But I wanted to do something even better because it's easy to say, oh yeah, go to the farmer's market. But we just talked about the issues that come with that. And this is where Elise and I found this thing called Misfits Market. Misfits Market. And what Misfits Market is it's a space where they take and I love this. It was like, it just spoke to my soul because I feel like I'm a misfit. I feel like I don't fit in anywhere. I feel like I'm the oddball guy that thinks differently, guy that sees the world differently, guys that has too much energy for a lot of people to handle, very extroverted in a lot of different ways. And it's just like, hey, you just stay over there and you'll be great. And that's what this is for fruits and vegetables. It's the misfit market where you have vegetables that maybe have carrots that look like a Z or peppers that look more like a tomato because they don't have the ridges properly, or bananas that actually are only 4 inches long because that's the actual size they should be. And they didn't get caught up in the hormone production or the new breeding ground of what the 5-foot long bananas are that you get sometimes in the grocery stores. And so Misfits Market is organic, but it's all the stuff that would just be thrown out because it doesn't look the part. And so you get it really, really cheap. And so you can do 2 things. You can do one that is kind of, you can't hand select what you get, but you can say, hey, I want more fruits and no veggies, or all veggies and no fruits, or a combination of each. But you can actually start to get this box that comes to your house every single week that has organic fruits and vegetables. You still got to wash them. You still got to do the stuff that's there, but they're so incredibly inexpensive because they would just be thrown out otherwise. It would literally go to waste. It was things that would literally be thrown out, perfectly good fruit, perfectly good vegetables, just because it doesn't look the part. And so that's the best place to go. And again, just on auto, where it just shows up at your house. It just shows up. Don't have to reorder it every single week. Don't have to do anything every single week. It literally just shows up at your doorstep. And the cool part about that is when you get it, you're not necessarily sure what exactly you're getting. So you could get, like, we've gotten dragon fruit before, we've gotten mangoes before, we've gotten star fruit before. sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, green beans, you name it. It's just always different. But the other thing that's funny is when you open the box, you open it and you're like, man, nothing looks the same. They're all very different. They're all very weird looking, but they all taste great. And so that's a great solution for your fruits and your vegetables is Misfits Market. Now, the other thing that we started to do was when we started to look at, okay, like the milks. And when you look into almond milk, coconut milk, cashew milk, flax milk, whatever type of milk you're trying to do outside of dairy, is you look at the ingredients list and they all have these artificial gums, they have these artificial sweeteners, they have these artificial colorings that go into them, and they're just garbage for you. They're trash. And so Elise and I have constantly been trying to figure this out. And I've gotten what I've started to buy was something called Mulk. It's built. It's created and made in Canada, and all that's in it is almonds or cashews, depending on if you're going with cashew or almond side of it, water, and sea salt, and it tastes amazing. It's so awesome. But for a pint, it's like $6. It's super expensive. And just so you know, I go through probably 4 to 5 pints a week. So we know that this would be, again, unsustainable long-term in terms of what you're actually spending. And so we got something the other day called Almond Cow. And this thing is a game changer, Almond Cow. What it is it's a actual almond milk, cashew milk, any type of nut milk maker that what you do is you put in water, the nuts of choice, flax seeds, almonds, cashews, you name it. And you could put a dash of mint leaf. You could put a little bit of vanilla, whatever it was that you wanted to have the flavoring of. And that literally is how you make it. You put it in, you hit a button, it spins it, it soaks it, it waits for it, and then it produces it. And it's unbelievable. And there's no gums, there's no artificial anything in there. And again, it's going back to the whole high quality food that you're looking at. The only thing that you have to purchase are your nuts. And that's the best part about that. So Almond Cow is what that's called. And then we start to go back, okay, what's the other thing? So we've now got our proteins looked after. We've now got our fruits and vegetables looked after. We've got our almond milk, because I make a lot of smoothies, looked after. Well, if we're making smoothies, how do I put protein in? And we start to look at the protein we buy. And again, Organifi is what we used to use. But again, you look at the ingredients list, it's got like 18 ingredients. And I was just like, this is no longer okay. Like, this doesn't work for me. And we found 2 proteins that are amazing. One is Truvani. Truvani is spectacular. The taste is a little bit more grainy, but it's amazing when you mix it into things. Truvani has, I think, 3 or 4 ingredients in it, and it's flavored with actual vanilla, like crazy, right? Some vanilla protein actually has real vanilla in it. And then the other one is Wellicious, Wellicious, Wellicious. And so those 2 protein powders both have 3 or 4 ingredients in them and are just high quality, taste really great, mix into the smoothies, the acai bowls, the things that we make really, really well. And so all of a sudden we have those on auto order. We've got one that comes, again, we kind of alternate. So we've got one that comes on the 14th of the month and one that comes the 1st of the month. And so we, again, are going through them every 2 weeks, but ordering them on a monthly basis, a monthly order, and we just adjusted them. And that's, again, our quantity that we need. So realize at this point, Wild Fork delivers for us. Misfits delivers for us. Almond Cow we make usually 3 to 4 times a week. We're kicking that in, and it takes me about 35 seconds to put everything in, and then it makes the milk. And so super, super simple. And then our protein gets delivered. Then people are like, well, Justin, where do you get like your packaged goods from? Where do you get your rice? Where do you get your quinoa? Where do you get your sourdough breads? Where do you get some other packaged things that are really good just for like snacks around? Your dried mango, your good crackers, your dips, your hummuses, things like that. Well, there's something called Thrive Market. And what Thrive Market is Thrive Market is a online marketplace, just like a grocery store. But the only way you get onto Thrive Market is one of 3 things. Number 1, is that you are privately owned. It cannot be owned by one of the big 10 food companies. Number 2 is it has to be at least 10 ingredients or less. So again, a little bit more than my 4, but 10 ingredients or less. And it has to be of a high quality food product. And so there's a very selective process that it goes through to understand whether it can live on Thrive Market or not. And if any company is purchased by one of those big 10, it gets dropped. And so again, you can feel confident in what you're purchasing from Thrive Market, and Thrive Market will deliver. And so there's things that we don't have anything on auto from there, but we do go to there and get some of our packaged goods from there, and making sure that anything, like if we need to do a tortilla chip or something like that, we'll get the masa chips off of there, which is literally almond flour, beef tallow, and Himalayan sea salt. And that's what our chips are made of. Like it's amazing. And just the quality and the taste, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then the last thing that we start to do is when we look at some basics, like frozen fruit, for example. We'll do that from Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is right around the corner. And after church on a Sunday, I'll go buzz by and I'll get frozen fruit. I'll get some dried mango and maybe some type of fruit that we need really quickly or something like that. But that becomes like your quick, easy basics. And all of those simply are just flash frozen fruit or fruit itself. And so that's how we've been able to do everything that is in our home with 4 ingredients or less, and making sure that it's sustainable and done in a really powerful and positive way. The other thing that we've started to do is we purchased a soda stream. We got this for Christmas from our family. Probably it was a white elephant gift, and I think there was 2 of these that went up there. And so like it was a big popular gift about 2 years ago. And we used to buy all of our seltzer water. We used to get it from the grocery store. And gosh, think about the amount of cans that you were throwing into the recycle, and just the amount of money you're spending on seltzer water. But we've got 4 bottles that are always going, that are easy. They get filled up with filtered water. You throw it in the CO2 cartridge, you push down, away you go. It's incredible. The other thing that's cool is when you start to make seltzer water, you can actually start to make the seltzer element, because you pour element into the seltzer, and it's literally like the element seltzers that they sell for $45 for a case of 20. And we get to make it ourselves. So another easy, quick way in order to do that. And then the last thing that we do is we get a Sunbasket delivery once a week. And this comes with 2 meals. And what happens in these meals is they come with all of the food already pre-cut, preset. So you've got your packaged organic carrots, you've got your packaged pre-cut organic sweet potatoes, you've got your wild caught salmon, you've got your quinoa that's pre-bagged, and then you have to go and cook it. But again, you don't have to think about it. It comes with a little recipe card. It's all organic. It's all, again, high quality ingredients. And so that's what we do as well. So we get 2 Sunbasket meals delivered every single week. It comes on a Monday, comes on Mondays, Monday afternoons. We get our protein delivered every 2 weeks. We get Wild Fork delivered every 2 weeks for our proteins. We get Thrive Market delivered as we need it. And then we do our Misfits Market every single week, which is our produce. And then our almond cow is made whenever we need it. So when we look at it, the only thing that we have to actually make, that we actually have to go out and do, is our almond milk. That is what we have to actually put time, effort, and energy into. And then we make all of our meals every single night, but we have everything in our home. And so it's easy, it's sustainable, it's quick, it's inexpensive compared to however else you want to eat really healthy. And this is where we can start to do it really, really powerfully. So I hope this was really informative for you. I hope this is going to inspire you to go and do some things differently. Wild Fork for all of your meats, being able to look at Misfits Market for all your fruits and veggies, Thrive Market for all your packaged goods, getting a look into the almond cow milk maker, getting a look into the Soda Stream to make your seltzer water, Sunbasket if you want some meals delivered that you can still cook, but know that you're having really high quality food and great ingredients. From a protein standpoint, using Truvani or Wellicious, and then just having a quick trip to a local grocery store, but you're going to start to notice you actually don't even go anymore. You're going to notice that you actually don't even step foot into these places because you've now equipped yourself, educated yourself, and empowered yourself to take ownership of your health in a new way for the food that you're putting into your body, and all of a sudden start to reap the benefits. There's a saying out there, and it goes, the harvest is plentiful, but the hands are few. And a lot of times we want to go and do the quick thing, the easy thing, which is the grocery store, or just the quick order somewhere. And if you set this up well, you can have a harvest that is plentiful and make your hands multiplied because it's now just done through these orders, set it, forget it, and away you go. And so I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please share it with somebody. Please leave a comment. Please leave a review. Post it on social media. Tag me at Justin Roth so that I can, again, continue to interact with you guys. But really just wanting, again, to make sure that we can empower, educate, and equip you to take ownership of your health so you can realize life in a different way. And the fuel we put in our body is critical. And the more sustainable, the more purposeful we can be, the better it can become at the end of the day. Success is different, so own your different. And we'll see you guys next week.